Hi all! Let's jump into a demo of one of the key features of AG2 0.53 release, Neo4j's GraphRag agent. We've combined Neo4j's graph database with Llama Index's embedding and querying capabilities to create this RAG agent. Let's jump into the code. You'll find this notebook on the AG2 website. To start with, we need to pip install AG2 with the Neo4j option. Here, we set up our LLM configuration and enable nested synchronous code to run. Neo4j allows us to configure the models we use for question answering as well as for embedding. These are configured when we create our capability engine. You'll need to have Neo4j running. Check out the link in the notebook for instructions on how to run it. I'm running it via a Docker container, which could be set up with a single command. Here we do our imports. We'll be demonstrating a simple agent for question answering in this notebook. We load up the employee handbook, stored as a Word document, and then ask it questions about workplace policies. We can load one or more documents, and we're setting that up here. We'll load the data in a minute, but here's what a simple graph looks like with entities and relationships. Although we can load the data without defining a schema, it's optimal to provide some guidance through a schema. Here we define our entities and relationships based on the type of documents that we're loading. A good feature here is the validation schema, which enables some control over how entities can be related to each other. And now we set up our engine. The parameters cover the connection to the Neo4j database, the LLM and embedding models, as well as the schema we just created. Then to load the data, we run the initdb with our documents. We can see it parsing the document and relating that to the schema, then creating the embeddings. And now we can see a much larger graph with Buzz, our fictional company name, sitting right in the middle. Let's jump across to the Neo4j browser, which allows you to have a look around the database and graph. By clicking on Employer, we can delve into all the relationships and related entities. Back to the notebook. It's time to create the agent, which we do like a typical conversible agent, except we add the Neo4j graph capability to it. In doing so, it will reply using Neo4j and Llama Index. We create a human in the loop through the user proxy agent, and we're ready to ask some questions. We can see it has identified the company name correctly, and the handbook covers leave, so let's ask about some sick leave entitlements. Great. And vacation leave? Okay, we can see that it has pulled that information directly from the document using the knowledge graph. To further enrich your RAG agent, you can add more documents into the database. This is done by using the add records method on the engine. This will follow the same steps as the first document, parsing it and embedding it. It will utilize the schema we created before. And here we can see the knowledge graph that now includes the equal opportunity policy. Now that we have two documents, we'll ask questions, but we'll make sure to be specific on the document we're asking about. We start by making sure it knows about the policy, and it does. And then we ask about the scope of the document. We know there's a list of items in the document about that. They look right. Finally, we ask about some responsibilities. And it gets that right too. And that's it. We'd love for you to try out this new agent capability, and we're actively working on improving it. At the moment, it doesn't take into account the conversation history, so it won't remember what you asked it before. Additionally, although creating a schema as a guide is the optimized approach to building the graph, we are working on improving the ability to have it auto-generate the graph without a schema. Thanks to the community and contributors that helped make this release happen.